Good morning. The microphone's working today. Yay! Good morning and welcome to First Parish in Concord, Unitarian Universalist. We're glad you're here, whether you're joining us online, in person, or watching later on YouTube. Welcome. We're glad you're here this morning. I'm the Reverend Paul Langston Daly, and I serve as the Minister for Social Action here in First Parish. Joining me today, leading our service, we have Peter Bowden, who I will introduce a little bit in a second. Eric will be serving on our organ this morning, and we have the Concord singing with us, so we're excited. Yay. If you're online, please feel free to participate fully in the chat. If you're here in person and have questions about accessibility or the building, please see our ushers or talk to one of our staff members. Masks are optional throughout the building, including in this space, and with COVID numbers rising, we encourage you to think about that. We continue to use enhanced ventilation and encourage masking to keep our communal spaces safe for everyone. I'd like to invite those of you who are present now to give a wave to the folks who are joining us online here. Yay! All right. I have a couple of announcements, more than a couple this morning. I apologize for the list. First, the worship sharing circle will be meeting in the Brooks room. They'll have a conversation about the service theme, so anybody who'd like to join that, please, at the bottom of the stairs in that the Brooks room. Coffee hour is an opportunity for folks to meet and greet one another, and are we inside or out today? I think we're inside today. Yeah? Okay. Standing committee rep. Who we got here? We got Liz and, is that Cece? Okay, Liz and Cece are here if you have questions. Okay, couple of announcements. The coat drive for the Concord shelter starts today. We're trying to collect 300 coats for the women and children in the shelter. We are looking for new and lightly used clean coats. You can drop them off downstairs in the cloakroom, or during this week, there'll be a box out in front of the building. So we hope that you'll take a moment to go through your closets and drop off any extra coats you might have. Come to the parish auction on 11/4. Tickets are for sale today in the coffee hour. Liz Rust is someone you can talk to if you have questions. Also, we're going to be doing the holiday gift bags again for the Concord Prison Outreach. Sign-ups are in the FP Weekly, and you can see me if you have questions about that as well. The search committee has asked the ushers to hand out a flyer. You'll see that you get a little yellow flyer in your order of service today. Please take a moment to check off your theological frame, and you can drop those off. There's a box in the back, and there's one over here on the chair, so if you could drop those off. If you're online, please, Jan will help you figure out how to get to that document so you also can participate. We appreciate that. And our holiday flowers today, Holly Jones White has provided the flowers for Major's memorial service this afternoon. So we're grateful that they came a little early, and it is a beautiful arrangement. So we're happy about that. Okay. Our guest speaker today is Peter Bowden. Many of you may know Peter as the husband of our Minister of Religious Education, Amy Freeman. He's a regular volunteer in our children's program, and today he is here in a different capacity to provide us with his wisdom. So we're excited about that. But it's not because he worked with children's television for 20 years, producing content for programs including Curious George, Arthur, Design Squad, Pinkalicious, and others, though that is a fun fact. It's because of his work with UU congregations. Peter is a trained coach working with Unitarian Universalist congregations across the United States and internationally through online programs. Specializing in growth, outreach, and media, he has been helping UU congregations innovate and adapt to our changing world for decades. In 2004, Peter co-founded the UU Small Group Ministry Network, helping to develop and popularize small group approaches that we use all over our association today. After YouTube was launched, he chose to study media instead of going to seminary so he could help our congregations learn to use the tools of our time with intention and purpose. He and Amy produced one of the first Unitarian Universalist videos on YouTube called "You're a Uni What?" which is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to check it out. As a social media developer, Peter was at the forefront, experimenting, learning, and helping our congregations try to make sense of these tools. When the pandemic hit, Peter first helped First Parish move online and ran our worship tech for those first Zoom sessions. As First Parish works to regather now and to grow and to fulfill the mission in today's world, we are deeply fortunate to have Peter speaking with us today. However you are joining us this morning, thank you for coming. We're really glad you're here. And we're going to start with singing hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song With Me. So I invite you to rise in body and spirit and join in our first hymn.
Good morning. So good to see you all. Friends, welcome. Take a breath. Feel your body in this space, together, on Zoom, in this room, connected across time on YouTube. Welcome to this moment connected, together, in a world that is increasingly digital, constantly connected, but also disconnected, disrupted, isolated, powerful and transformative, but not always in ways that serve us. Let us celebrate that here we have gathered together. We've found each other. Amen to that. Connected, whether it's for years or weeks or days, or you just logged in, or you're sneaking in, I see you. Welcome. Together, recognizing the promise and potential in our choosing to gather. Come, let us worship together.
The flaming chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, And we light it this morning in celebration of being together in this room, across the miles, across time and space, the miracle of connection. Let's join in our Chalice Lighting responsive words. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength. Enliven our spirits and engage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred, essential moment now.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Now, first, I just have to, someone who does a lot of work with technology in our congregations, adapting, someone who helped First Parish for that first pandemic season move online. I just have to take a moment and ask, can we just thank our tech crew, Arkady, David, Ben, who's starting to help out. They work so hard doing things. It's like they're like octopuses up there, running this, running that, sound, multiple cameras, slides. It's amazing, and we're really fortunate to have them. Now, is Catherine Hill in the room? Catherine, come on up. So come forward for a second. Catherine is our new web and administrator. Is that the right title? Well, so Catherine's working with communications. If you've seen communications starting to improve, like go to next level at First Parish. So you just say hi, tell them who you are, what you do here, how glad you are to be here, but like real quick.
Yeah. Hi, so I'm Catherine. I started at the end of March as our web and office admin with a big focus on digital communication. So if you've been looking at our Facebook page, you've probably noticed it's looking very active and lively. And this is a very active and lively congregation. I mean, just the energy in this room coming in here today. So it's good to have social media, and our website reflects that, because this is a great, great congregation. So I'm just very honored to be a part of the staff here and to work with all of you and see what happens next. So it's a very exciting time, and this is going to be a really exciting service, I think, and very relevant to what we're working on and what I'm bringing to the congregation. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. So, for our wisdom story, I have, for all of us, really a wisdom challenge. A wisdom challenge. As Unitarian Universalists, one of the things that we work hard to do, our congregations are like a place where we're constantly trying to support each other in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Now, the internet has been amazing for that because we can access so much information, right? Anyone here ever do a Google search? Yeah, of course. All right. But the internet has changed very recently. We've entered kind of like our world in the internet. There's been this TikTokification of it with algorithms taking charge of our search. So an algorithm, and this is actually core to who we are as people, figuring out what we want to see, what we want to learn, what we want to watch, what we want to read, how we want to be. Well, companies that run social media platforms have figured out we'll stay on their platforms longer if, instead of asking us, who do we want to be connected to? Do you want to see content from this church, from this organization, from that person? That instead, we can get you to stay on our platforms longer if we just take charge of the process. And so, in our modern world now, with our smartphones, who has a smartphone? Anyone? It's getting up there. Is it 100%? Maybe not, but close. Now, the tools we're using, social media, YouTube, all these things, they're changing so that what we see is no longer what we're asking for, but what the app notices we pay attention to. So if I am on my phone and I'm looking at something, and all of a sudden there is and this is a true story, a cute hedgehog, And I know that we had a hedgehog visit First Parish recently, and I show my family, and we watched the cute video 3 times. Guess what I'm searching for now according to the algorithms? What? Hedgehogs! And my feed starts going hedgehog wild, all right? If something is shocking, maybe disturbing to me, what's the algorithm going to start serving up if I pay attention to that? Shocking! Angry, frustrating, gross. I had a little scratch on my eye, and so I did a search about eye injuries. Oh my God, the eyeballs I started seeing everywhere. All right, so what does this mean for us as people searching, trying to learn, make sense of our world, make choices for ourselves? We have to stay in charge of our lives and our feeds and not give up control. So here's my invitation. It's kind of a wisdom challenge for you. When you have your phone or using a website or a platform and you scroll 1, 2, 3, say that for me. 1, 2, 3. Then ask, who's in charge? The algorithm or me? The algorithm or me? All right, now that's a little bit silly, but the reality is our technology, and we'll be speaking about this later in the service, our technology is changing our behavior, what we see, what we think, what we interact with, how we feel, and that's transformative. So we all want to take charge of that process. So now I want to invite Amy up, who's going to help us with moving on to the next part, and then I'll take the mic after you.
Okay. So to continue on the theme of searching for truth and meaning, I want to invite our RE guides to come forward this morning. This morning we have Anderson joining our kindergarten through 3rd grade group, as well as Emma and Liza. We have Nick and Liz guiding our 4th and 5th graders, who are known as our UU tweens. And Amy Rensko and I will be with the junior youth group. If you have any little ones, you can take them down to the Milldam Nursery School. If you have any high school students, or if you are a high school student, you can head to the kitchen because they're doing some baking today. So let us join together in song and move on to our religious exploration.
Now, in just a moment, the Concords are going to come up and offer our anthem, but I have to give you a little introduction, something kind of funny, and I think, well, what's the word? Awesome has happened. When we were playing the music and it was decided that the anthem would be forward through the ages, being the kind of person I am, I said, wouldn't it be kind of funny if we did, or interesting or appropriate, if we did a forward through the digital ages version? So I grabbed a little chat GPT and had it write up some draft lyrics, which I tweaked. And this Sunday I learned that they actually are going to do that version. I thought that was just like wouldn't it be fun if. But sometimes if you open your mouth, the world responds and things happen. So welcome the Concords.
people are texting, they all love the chime. Emojis sent with laughter, hearts emoji filled. Many a post and picture, memories are instilled. Forward with the gadgets in this digital climb. Even if we're baffled, we'll get there in time. Broader grows our network, friends from near and wide. For it we keep learning, grandkids as our guide. Elon has bought Twitter, so the stories say. We might just start tweeting, but not every day. Forward with the gadgets in this digital climb. Even if we're baffled, we'll get there in time. Not alone we venture in this online maze. With each new app or feature, we are set ablaze. Linked by shared excitement in this tech-filled spree. Onward we keep swiping to what's next we'll see. Forward with the gadgets in this digital climb. Even if we're baffled, we'll get there in time.
I gotta turn the mic on. So it's my pleasure this month, as it is most months, to introduce our new Share the Plate. And before I do that, I want to thank you all for your contributions last month. It's wonderful to do this every month. This is the first Sunday in October, and so we introduce a new Share the Plate recipient this month. This month we are recognizing the work of the Boston Area Gleaners. Boston Area Gleaners addresses food insecurity on farm food waste and local farm sustainability through a variety of programs. With the help of volunteers, the Gleaners harvest and pack donated food from local farms for communities across the region. Through their distribution program, they deliver fresh food to a network of food programs, pantries, food banks, and meal programs. Their newly launched Boston Food Hub program is a wholesale market for local produce, providing income opportunities for farmers, healthy food access for low-income communities, and much-needed farm-to-institution supply line for local universities, hospitals, and food banks. The Gleaners also organize seasonal apprenticeships to train the next generation of leaders in the field. So I just want to thank Dan Niven and Dana Lissy for recommending this month, and we look forward to your generous contributions this morning as we share our plate with the Boston Area Gleaners. Thank you.
I have to test the ejector button here. Good. All right, first, thank you to the Concords for that beautiful forward to the digital ages. And I'm one who's used to speaking extemporaneously for long training, so I'm actually going to make sure I have a timer here so I don't go too long. Very good. And there's no clock right now. That doesn't mean I get to speak forever past. All right, welcome everybody. So for our reading this morning, I have a little excerpt from the book Alone Together, Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other by Sherry Turkle. Sherry Turkle is the founder and director of the MIT Initiative on Technology and the Self. She writes, relationships with technology is ramping up. Relationships with people are ramping down. What road are we traveling? Winston Churchill once said, we shape our buildings and they shape us. We now make our technologies and they in turn shape us. So of every technology, we must ask, does it serve our human purposes? Technology, friends, is changing our world, changing human behavior, as I mentioned in our wisdom story, and it is up to us to vision, dream, imagine the world we want, and to use that technology appropriately, which is really the theme of our service, my talk this morning. So I want to start by saying, after lockdown, when we started gathering again physically on site, I was shocked at my interactions with people, but not surprised. When people would come, newcomers, and I'm always introducing myself to newcomers, and I'd say, I'm Peter, I'm married to Reverend Amy, who works with our children's program, and such. Tell me about yourself. The response repeatedly from newcomers was, I need friends. Wait one second, I'm gonna move this. My arms are a little longer than other staff. All right, I need friends. Never in my years growing up in a UU congregation, working with congregations, being here for years, had people been so blunt and vulnerable about the need for friends. And it hit me that we truly have reached, and we're moving towards a loneliness epidemic, which the pandemic accelerated, and our technology has exacerbated, making digital bubbles around us all as we're constantly connected to the internet. Now, not everyone uses technology the same way, but the people I'm thinking about today, there's so many of us who use technology to research, explore, and get the answers for anything we're interested in. Any of you enjoy having access to like the sum total approximately of human knowledge at your fingertips? Come on, when I'm gonna go to New Cafe, I get on like my tablet and I'm like doing the satellite dropping down. I'm like a CIA operative scoping the place out. And that's for a New Cafe. Do you know what people do when they're looking for a new church? Exact same thing. In one case, the internet has given us access to all this information, so you'd think it would be easier for us to connect. But what's happened is, as we're getting used to having all this information, to having great confidence in our decisions, to know what we're getting into, increasingly, and this has been verified by people I've talked to year after year after year, talking to newcomers as I've traveled around New England, offering services and trainings and whatnot, that when people have a spark of interest, a need, a hope, a want, something that makes them say, you know what, I'm gonna check out my local congregation or see what congregations are around. I need friends, I need community. They no longer visit on site. they kick into a research mode and explore online. So the visits have moved online, which is where we're challenged to meet people, greet them, welcome them warmly, orient them, and help them reach the decision or understand, is this place right for me? Now those of you who are here and know each other and experience the warmth and the connection and the programming and the online programming and everything here, could you truly appreciate what First Parish is like and who we are as a community by scoping us out online? Really hard. Yet that's what people are trying to do. And therein is our challenge. Now, I want to tell you that. Now, step back for a second. For those of you who are wondering why I'm up here speaking, Paul gave a fabulous introduction, which I handed him. But a few of you have cornered me since it came out, like that I was speaking on this topic and information about my work came out. I am an internationally recognized Unitarian Universalist trainer and coach. I'm a tiny bit UU famous, which basically means I'm not famous, but unless you're Unitarian Universalist out in the world outside of Concord. But years ago when we came here, when Amy was hired as your Minister of Religious Education, and our daughter was like just going to first grade, I made a decision. I'm not going to continue guest speaking every Sunday. I'm not going to lead trainings on the weekend. I'm going to use the tools of our time to do my work with congregations during school hours. Like I went full on Zoom back then. And I've had the honor of being here almost every single weekend since. And so I just want to say to all of you, thank you for being such a warm and friendly and just fabulous community. I've been wanting to tell you some things for a long time. And I generally don't share anything about my work because in terms of like boundaries, it's not my place to tell your staff and everyone what I think congregations should be doing, even though that's what I do Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. What I always do is offer, I'm here as a resource. If your staff is interested, I'm happy to talk shop if there's appropriate time. So, when the pandemic hit, Howard's like, Peter, will you help us go online? I'm like, done. We did that. Now as we're working to regather and connect again, grow First Parish, there's a lot of energy and interest in how we function in today's world now. Seth and I were talking. I helped him make a video introducing him to the congregation, and he invited me to be here today. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. After today, I'm going to be very quiet once again and be back in the children's program. You'll never see me or hear from me again. After the service, I am leading an optional workshop for anyone who's interested from 11:30 to 12:30 in the Emerson room and on Zoom. So the thing that I want us to appreciate as we seek to really welcome people into the life and heart of this congregation today. In this world, for better or worse, that is increasingly digitally oriented, that we're constantly connected and have our devices, is that we're increasingly no longer able to use the old blueprint for how to welcome people into our congregation. If we wait for people to walk in the door to really help them understand who we are, what we're about, increasingly, and it's getting more so every day, they are never going to show up unless there's some personal invitations asking people here. Recently, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a report on our having a loneliness epidemic. And the numbers of people in America, I'm not going to go into details of that report due to time, but the number of people in our country who have little to no friends is skyrocketing. The number of people who spend their days feeling socially isolated, alone, not belonging in our world, rising. So there's been a challenge in his report. Community organizations need to step it up. We need to step it up. And friends, I've been trying to do that for years with some good results. But so I want to share what I've found is that when people have a spark, a hope, a want, a need, something in their life that makes them feel like, I need friends, or I need a community with whom I want to do life with. Explore the challenges of our world, or the joys, the beauty, people to work for justice with, climate action with. They reach out online and start researching. And so the question is, how can we ever take the beauty of what is First Parish and move it online in such a way that people can actually have a sense of who we are and connect? Can it be done? What do you think? Yes? No? Heart? Friends, it's not rocket science. What I've found is that in talking to people who've successfully connected with congregations, that they are wanting not only information, but human interaction, a sense of who are the people in this congregation. So if you were to say, I'm going to go and explore First Parish, if you were to come in here, they're going to see the people. There's going to be warm greeting. There's going to be information about our theology. Fill this out about your theological and religious preferences. Your new minister is going to want to know these details. There are all these little things that people are going to want to know about First Parish. How can we offer this? Well, the norm in many of our congregations is when you go online, they show buildings, empty buildings showcasing the beautiful history. They show details about all the accomplishments of the organization, Unitarian Universalist history, and the core questions of, well, what are the people like? What's Bernie like? Peter? Jim? Liz? Like, how can we share that? Like the humanity. One of the things that's truly been transformative is now we have online video. We can all use devices and record video. And so the congregations that really in this time are starting to connect with people in exciting ways is they're using the tools of our time like video so that if you're exploring a congregation and you care about climate, you can see people who care about climate talking about their passion, the work, the assessments, the things they're putting on the windows, drilling for heat, whatever, I don't know the details. If we're raising children a certain way, there's information about, what does it mean that we offer like this comprehensive sexuality program our whole lives? Is this a Christian church, a Unitarian Universalist church? What does it mean? Who are the leaders? And the challenge, will I belong there? Will I belong there? Any of you read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell? Love that book. So in that book, he shares a story or some information that there's research been done that if you are trying to determine if a college class is going to be great or not, you're going to have people take the class for the whole semester and do a survey on how good is that professor. You get that number. Oh, it's this person, say Peter, leading the class, 4.5 out of 5 stars. You show someone a 2-minute video of me speaking, they come up with the exact same rating. We can look at another human being and in a moment be like, I like that person's style. And so think, as we move towards like, how does First Parish in all of our congregations nationally really try and welcome people into the hearts and lives of our congregations, to amplify our justice work, to lead the transformation we want in the world as the world's increasingly digital and video dominates. Our challenge is, are we going to love the people who might want to be among us if they truly knew who we are? Do we care enough to learn the tools, to experiment, to try new things, to use new approaches, and to truly bring the best of who we are and what we care about our humanity online in exciting, fun, compelling, and easy to engage with ways? So that's something I've been working with for years. I'm excited to what we can do together. I want to share a story that truly drove home for me this process. I was speaking at one of our neighboring congregations a number of years ago. This is pushing 10 years ago. And I always like to say, hey, if you're new in to the congregation and following the service, I'd love to talk to you, to hear your process to connect. So this woman comes up to me and she said, Peter, this is my third Sunday. I was like, oh, that's great. Tell me, when did you first start researching the congregation? And she said, oh, it was a year ago when we moved to town because of a job. I said, a year ago? Wait, so you moved here a year ago, started checking out the congregation, and you're only here now 3 weeks? What happened? And she said, well, I went online, and I wasn't sure. I have found uncertainty leads to anxiety. And in our world today, anxiety does not lead to visiting a congregation. It leads to Netflix. And so that woman subscribed to their podcast. 3.5 weeks ago, I said, so how'd you go from the podcast to being here? She said, 3.5 weeks ago. I know exactly the moment, Peter. I know exactly the moment. I'm at my sink washing dishes, listening to the podcast. And they are exploring something that I was so passionate about. I just started crying because I'm like, these are my people, and I'm not there. And finally, that was enough for her and her family to come. So, friends, I think our challenge is, can we use the tools of our time to help people get their questions answered, to know who we are, and truly welcome them into the hearts and life of our congregation? I'll end by saying, some of you have been asking me, do I think congregations, not just this congregation, but any congregation, UU congregation, can survive these times? It's honest questions from some of you. Can we survive? Yes. We have so much of what the world is looking for. Religious pluralism, the justice issues we care about, community, the amazing people here in this room, this Zoom, the Zoom. I think that for us, as long as we're willing to learn, accept the reality of how people's behavior is changing, that it's only blue skies moving forward, which is the official cue for our anthem.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds, bluebirds all day long, bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly, fly, fly high. Blue days, all of them gone, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds, bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds, bluebirds all day long, bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly, fly, fly high. Blue days, all of them gone, all of them gone. Nothing but here comes blue skies, blue skies,
Baby blue
skies for miles. See those blue skies smiling at me.
Thank you, Concords. Each week when we gather, you are invited to share the joys of your life, the hopes in your hearts, and the sorrows of your life. Whenever you would like to have something held by community here together, just send me an email or a text anytime during the week, and I will share it on your behalf on Sunday morning. This week, we share that Susan Howard, who is Jim Reynolds' mother and a friend here at First Parish, she fell last Sunday and broke her shoulder. She is in a sling, recovering at home, and grateful that she did not need surgery. We hold Susan in our thoughts, in our hearts and prayers for healing. Who else is in your heart and on your thoughts? I invite you to call their names aloud now.
All the people of Ukraine.
Friends, will you pray with me? This is a prayer for healing of body, especially for Susan. May her recovery be smooth. But for all of us who need healing in our bodies. A prayer for healing in our spirits. For all of us who feel alone, who are grieving, who are in pain, may there be a balm. Friends, this is a prayer of reassurance. Reassurance that you, yes, you here in this pew, in your chair, in your sofa, you are beloved. You are knit into community and knit into the wide network of humanity. And you, yes, you are beloved. Finally, this is a prayer for hope, that we together, newcomers and old-timers alike, might together continue to build towards beloved community, to adapt to the times as they change, holding on to cherished traditions and opening our hearts to newness as it comes, working together for love and justice and liberation. Blessed be and amen. Let us linger in this stillness for the meditations and prayers of our hearts.
An important role I play within Unitarian Universalism at large is being a cheerleader, a champion for what we might accomplish. So I end on these 3 points, my First Parish friends. I love you. That's 1. 2, you are awesome. This community is amazing. And 3, as we move forward with the work of this congregation, our mission, our vision, ministerial search, all the things we're doing, we got a full plate. May we be guided by love, which is our closing hymn. Join me in singing number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Before we go to the benediction, I just want to say quickly for all of you who said, oh, we don't need our glasses anymore because the words are on the thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, come to Peter's workshop at 11:30. Okay, can we have the benediction slide? There we go. Please join me in our benediction. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Suffer the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated for the postlude.